Good morning. It is Saturday, and been working in the building as much as I could over the last week. I've been, working on call 3 days this week, so I've only had a few hours that I piddled in at night till about 9 or 10 o'clock at night when I got home. But I was going to show you what got accomplished, and what we're going to be working on today. We're going to get some video of that so you can see how I'm doing this. Originally, I ran the boards along the. I'm going to point up here along this way, along the wall. But in looking at that and matching it up to the windows, that was not going to work for how we were going to be able to sheetrock it. So Kyle, my neighbor, and I were out here one night for about an hour and a half contemplating it, and I'd run several boards. I'd spent a lot of the last Saturday running a lot of boards that way and realized that was not going to work. So took those boards down on Sunday after church, and then this week started building walls, more like the traditional walls. So a little different because I'm mounting them inside the metal so that we have an ability to put sheetrock on and mount cabinets. So I'm gonna spin this around and let you see what it's looking like. All right, so it started here. I've got to come out here, and then we're gonna make the turn, back down inside this crease. But right now I'm working on just the main walls. This is where kitchen cabinets will be. So I'm trying to secure that up really good in there. And I've worked all the way down this wall, around that window, last night around this window and this wall. And so how that's working is, we have to have a lip to be fairly smooth to go down the wall to hang sheetrock, because it'd be hard to sheetrock into this metal and carry it that far. So these are 16 on center, very similar to what I'll do on the floor. The difference is the floor, you kind of have a standard measurement on how to do that, and you can buy the boards that way and lay them out, fire them together. This is a lot different because we're having to, get it up off the floor, lay it on top of this thing. They have bolts, and I'll show you bolts, and I'm having to match, this treated wood and cover that, or drill a hole through that so the bolt will slide down and it'll sit flat. And we're double stacking it because we're going to have to carry this across this 15-foot section. Which is going to require several 2x8s, and we'll show you how we're going to end up having to do that. But today we're going to start working on these walls around to this corner and try to get that. Maybe, just maybe, we can start down that wall, but at least hopefully we can get this up. And I still got to work on that bathroom floors, concreting it. So I may buy some Sackcrete later today, make a trip so that Sunday afternoon I might be able to pour that. But it's early Sunday morning. The girls, Denise and Meemaw, are going out there to feed the animals, and I'm gathering up all the supplies to start again this morning. Stumpy's going to help me today, which is going to help having that extra hand. And Kyle came over last night, helped me for about an hour with a segment. These two larger segments we pre-built and laid up. The tedious work's been around these windows, the small sections. But I will get you some video of it today, how we're doing it, and let you see how that's coming along. All right, so measured out my boards here and there. And then, measure my distance from here to this. because I've got to get this to sit down on it so it sits flush on this board. So I measured that out, I'll mark it, and then we're gonna drill a hole through it, and then I always check it, and we're gonna seat it and see if it sits right. So on this hole, I use a 3/4 inch paddle bit to go around the screw. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put this thing here. All right, so we got this to sit down over that, and then we just look and see if it's flush on the bottom. And that looks pretty flush right there. Push it together, see how this one does. And same thing, it sits over it and it sits snug in that pocket. And I'll push it up against that lip, because that lip is our guide. This is our distance off the pole all the way up. That gives us our measurements for doing it. So I can take that off, I'll make my measurements, and we're gonna build the wall. So how you do that, if you're interested in how that stuff works, we'll take a measurements from the top across, the measurements here, and our studs in between. I'll prefabricate it right here on the floor in front of me. Then I'll lay the wall back up and attach it to the metal poles, and we'll show you how to do that. All right, so I laid out my boards, 5 boards that I'm gonna do for this section, and went ahead and marked them using my square, laid them out, meshed them up together, got my measurement, and now I'll cut these boards, and then I've got to cut my toppers, and then we'll put it together. All right, so I've got the boards laid out for this segment. We're going to put it together, mark out where the studs are going to go. I'm going to pick this board up and lay it out. And when you're doing this, professional carpenters tell you to keep your bow out. So you find where your bow is, and that's going to be the outside of your wall. So we'll look at that. Or I say the outside would be the inside of your wall. This bow here. But this one is bent a little bit more, and I may put it on the end because I can straighten it out. So we'll do there. Slide these boards up. Basically, we're going to frame this thing out. Measure it off. 16 from center. So the difference in doing it with this and this metal is, like when I put this one here, 16 on center, it's going to be close to this edge. So trying to get that screwed into the metal was a little challenging. And so the thought was to not put this one in till last. But I figured out a method I could get the slight angle and get it pulled in. So we're going to try that one again this way. So I'll keep doing that all the way around. Instead of me having to put the post in the middle after the fact and toenail it in. I'll see which one gives me more headache. That's the bottom line. But I measured that 16 on center. then I start on one end. Alright, so I've got some boards, just pre-cut, and put them at either 3.5, 4.5 feet. Stabilize that a little bit. We're going to find this area in it, and go ahead and put them on. And there, we have a wall. So I'm going to move this camera so you can see, and I'm going to set this wall up. See if I can back it up a little bit. Alright. So ideally, I'm going to take this wall and mount it in here. Just like that. And like I said, sometimes when you're measuring this, it might be just a little off here. But the most important thing for me is this. Once I pull that together, now I've got to screw this in. Now, so the key here is I have to mount this to the metal. Because see, if I'm doing this as a wood structure, you're mounting it along your wall, bracing it to the floor. When I do the other side, see, I'll have to mount with bolts, just like they did this metal, the wood to the floor. But since they have this already, we can get this up off the floor and run it where we want it. So now I've got to pre-drill this. We pre-drill it because the metal screws, it's not good to try to burn through the wood. We want an easy flow for the metal screw to go in and cinch this up. But what I'm looking for here is I want to make sure that this is cinched all the way up to the wall, because this is where my sheetrock will lay, and I want it to be level. And these little bracers behind us, that's our guide. So I'll push these things against these bracers, work from the floor up, and tack it in. So I'm going to show you how that looks. Alright, so I've got a quick release drill bit. I'm going to secure this to the bottom. I'm going to find the spot, and I'm going in the middle. Go down till I touch. Same thing here. Touch. Do the same thing here. I just want to tap the metal. I'm going to go all the way up this thing. I'll have to get a ladder to get up there, but this is the one that's tricky. I'll have to do it at an angle, and I'll do that last once I secure this thing onto the wall. I think we'll start right there, down here. So I'll take that quick release off, put this on. And then we got the screw that's self-tapping. And I'm going to come down here, push this up with my leg to the thing to make sure it's flush. And then that goes right into the middle. Just like that. Same thing here. What I'll do here is make sure this is pushed in using my body. Tack it in. Did some recording earlier. The battery died. I don't know if I lost it all or not, but we'll just have to review it. I'll do another segment on what we did, and if we don't need it, then we won't worry about it. But I got out here this morning and started building some more walls. Stuff that kept me build this wall. Now we're going to start on this turn, and so this one was a little tougher than normal. I think I had a little bow in this thing. It was tighter to get it in, but I've gotten it in now. And we had to use some persuasion. And now we're going to start the turn here. So I put 2 boards here so that when we meet this board this way, we'll have a corner so we can put sheetrock on both ends. So that's what we're going to look at. Start measuring here and build this wall. Alright, so we got our bottom board measured, top measured, board's 90 and a half. That leaves me room for the 2 toppers, the top, and 1 for the rafter to sit on. So we're going to, if I have this on the other video, you'll sort of have to watch all this, I guess, we can edit it out. But we're going to put the boards here with our spacers in between the studs, pre-build it. Set it right back up. So we're going to go over here, measure our boards. Okay, got that measured. Lay our boards out. Fire these on there. Okay, now we see we get this set up there. Strong enough to work with the braided sheetrock, I would think. And once you it'll go pretty much straight up. This is got which I figured any little bit less than a quarter of its way through it. Sheetrock only one of the big sizes. Pretty much being about, see like that, a little bit more proud than that way. See it here. A little proud about that. Yeah, but I didn't do one right there. Saturday afternoon. We've been working all day, and just to show you what we've done from there all the way around to there. We had to skip that. I've got to work on getting that ready. I've got a concrete pad and set a 2-inch dip. So I got to take these boards out and figure out how to smooth this out so I can do a 2-inch drop pour, and then I can, go ahead and taper the floor for the tile. So I've got to do some research on that, make sure I don't mess that up before I go ahead and put the boards up and start covering this. So I really want to wait on these 2 walls until I get that done. Then I can start building the walls around the shower. And but it won't be long. I got one more to do there, and then we'll start coming down the concrete and drilling it and putting our boards and our walls up here. So, but it's gonna take a break, get a little relaxation and a shower before we have a fall thing with our neighbors. Our neighbors do something every year, and they cook some, what is it they cook? Jambalaya? Gumbo and goulash, and there's hot dogs, and they usually have a campfire. So we're just gonna go socialize with the neighbors tonight for a little while, and then come home and get ready for church tomorrow. And then tomorrow afternoon, I may piddle out here some more or work on figuring this out. So I am gonna have some Fridays off coming up, so that'll give me an extra day to work on it. And but one step closer. So we'll keep you updated with the next video once we get walls up on this side. So thank y'all for watching. Stumpy always says a simple life is a much more enjoyable life. Thank y'all.
Mm-hmm.